Okay, today we are going to discuss one economic development model, and Harry-Domer model is one of the most important model in this. So Harry-Domer model basically is mostly applicable in advanced country where there is the capital in its large scale, or you can say abundant capital. And Harry-Domer model is the model which is the model in new classical growth theories terms. And a Harry-Domer model is basically a Keynesian model of economic growth. Okay, and it is the theory of development and to explain the economic growth of any economy in terms of the level of saving and the capital. So its main focus was on the saving and the capital rates, and it suggests that there is no natural reason for an economy to have balanced growth. And this model was basically developed by Harrod in 1939 and by Domer in 1946. Okay, so it was firstly developed by Harrod in, you can say, 1939 and by Domer in 1946. Okay, and they both models have some similarity and basic dissimilarities in both, and these theories have been involved and they are crucially very important for the advanced country because there is the availability of capital and saving are in large scale. Okay, so Harry-Domer model is based on Keynesian saving investment analysis. So according to Harry-Domer model, capital is the crucial factor of economic growth. Okay, so capital is considered, you can say a capital and saving both consider a crucial factor of economic growth, and more than saving, capital is the main factor involved in it. Harrod model concentrate on the possibility of steady state growth through adjustment of supply and demand of capital. So to reach the steady growth rate, or you can say equilibrium level of state, the adjustment between the supply and demand is very crucial of the capital. And the Harrod-Domer model was basically an exogenous growth model. Okay, new classical growth theories are under the exogenous growth theories, which explain that the growth is the determinant factor of the externals indicators, not only interior one. Okay, so external factors also affect the economic growth of the country, like technical progress. Okay, so there are some basic assumptions involved in it. So in Harrod-Domer model, there is the assumption of full employment of income, no interference of government, no intervention of any government, or you can say laissez-faire policy. It follows this model based on closed economy, and where average propensity to save and marginal propensity to save are equal to each other. They both have an equality between them, and APS and MPS and capital output ratio are constant. Okay, in closed economy, law of constant return to operate here. Okay, so there is the constant return to scale and a constant output ratio. This is the main assumptions of the Harrod-Domer model. So according to Harrod-Domer model, there are three main theories or a kind of growth, like warranted growth, actual growth, and natural rate of growth. So we'll see them one by one. And before that, Harrod-Domer model has raised three issues. Okay, by studying this model, we have reached to the three main issues related to this, that how can steady growth be achieved with a fixed capital output ratio. If we know that there is the capital output ratio which is fixed, then how will we be able to reach to the steady growth rate. And second raised issues of this theory is that how steady growth can be maintained, how can maintain it, and how do natural factor put a ceiling in the growth rate of the economy, how these growth rate affect the economy's development, and how do these natural factors affect it. So in this theory, it suggests that there is no natural reason for an economy to have balanced growth. So Harrod-Domer model is basically the model to answer these three issues. It is divided into these three parts, that according to Harrod-Domer model, there are three kind of growth. Okay, that is the actual growth rate, warranted growth rate, and natural growth rate. So actual growth rate is the real rate increase in a country's GDP per year. Okay, so actual growth rate is determined by actual rate of saving and investment in the economy. What is actually going on? Not a planned one, but an actual scenario going on in our economy. Actual growth rate tells that. So actual great growth rate tells you the actual rate of saving and investment in the economy, and its symbolic form, this G is the symbolic form of this actual growth rate. So G is the defined as the ratio of change in income to the total income. So what is the change of income to the total present income? Change is the difference between the present and past, and this is the total income, which is an ongoing income. So G is determined by saving income ratio and capital output ratio, and these both factors are remain fixed in this. Okay, so we know this equilibrium. Say there is one equilibrium state where investment is equal to saving or demand is equal to supply. So investment is equal to saving. We know this by taking aggregate demand is equal to aggregate supply. Then you can reach to this equilibrium state, that is I equals to S. This is known as dynamic equilibrium position. Okay, so this is what which we call it as in dynamic equilibrium. Now second factor is the warranted growth rate. So warranted growth rate is the rate of growth at which the economy does not expand, or you can say does not expand due to any recessions, or what is the situation. It is the best possible position which each and every economy want to be, because it is the growth rate of economy when it is working at full capacity. Okay, because warranted growth rate, or you can say that warranted growth rate is the rate of growth at which economy does not expand indefinitely or go into recession. It is the growth rate where economy work at its full capacity. Okay, so GW is the symbolic form of this warranted growth rate. Warranted growth rate can be symbolically write as GW, and it is also known as full capacity growth rate. So warranted growth rate is determined by capital output ratio and saving income ratio. At steady equilibrium of warranted growth rate, full utilize its capacity. In GW, the demand for businessmen is high enough. So in warranted growth rate, the businessmen's demand get very increased at this warranted growth rate. So warranted growth rate is the growth rate where economy work at its full capacity. So GW is also known as, that is the reason, full capacity growth rate. Okay, and GW is its symbolic form. So warranted growth rate is the growth rate where the in symbolic form we write this warranted growth rate is GW into CR is equal to S, where GW is the warranted growth rate, CR is the required capital, how much capital you are required, not an actual what your planned one, or how much you required for, and S is your saving income ratio. This stand for your saving income ratio. So GW and CR must be equal to your saving income ratio. So according to this, CR shows the required capacity for maintaining warranted growth rate, and S is your saving income ratio. According to Harrod, the economy can achieve steady growth rate. Harrod say that you can only reach to the steady growth rate where your actual growth rate is equals to your warranted growth rate, and where your actual capital equals to your required capital. Okay, then only you can reach to the steady growth rate. But there are some instability, or you can say some disequilibrium paths, like if the actual growth rate is more than the warranted growth rate, then it means that your actual capacity, your actual capital is less than your required capital, because growth rate of income increases more than the growth rate of output. This shows that you are working with full capacity, but actually your actual growth rate is more than that. Okay, which mean that your capacity, your actual capital which is being run in the economy is less than your required capital, and that is the reason that there will be a growth of income more than that of output. if your income is more than the output, then your demand is increasing due to rise in the income, which make more than the output. If your demand increases more than your output, because your income increases, and this is the reason why here is an inflation. Okay, what is inflation? When price increasing at a continuous basis, and in inflation your demand, I can say that your aggregate demand exceed your aggregate supply, and your price increases constantly. Okay, so this is the situation where an inflationary gap arises when your demand is more than supply. So to decrease this demand, when your demand increases, what's the its effect on the price? Its price, when your demand increases as a steady rate, and you make this demand, you know that there is the negative relationship between demand and price. So if the price increases, your demand falls. Okay, and when your price falls, your demand increases. So to correct this situation, and how we correct this situation? When we get to the position where aggregate demand is equal to aggregate supply. How to correct this situation? By decreasing this aggregate demand. And how to decrease this aggregate demand? By increasing the price. So whenever there is steadily increase in the price, then the inflation arises. Okay, so this is the concept of inflationary gap. So this is the basic concept, you must clear this. So if G, your actual growth rate, is more than your warranted growth rate, then inflation will arises. Okay, and it's just opposite of this will be run like this. Okay, if your actual growth rate is less than your warranted one, then your capital is more than your required capital. This will the growth rate of income will be less than the growth rate of your output. So demand in this case decreases, so due to fall in income more than your output. And this is the case of deflation. Deflation mean when your aggregate demand is just opposite of this, is less than your aggregate supply. So to correct this situation, to increase the demand, we have to increase demand. For that reason, we have to make a steadily fall in its price. So when price decreases, its demand automatically increases. Then we'll reach to the position where aggregate demand is equal to aggregate supply. Okay, this is how we have the instability of growth explained in the Harrod-Domar model. Okay, and third, the most important, again the third factor is the natural growth rate. The steady growth rate implies a balance between actual growth rate and the warranted growth rate. Okay, so what is this natural growth rate? Natural growth is the growth of an economy required to maintain full employment. So natural growth rate is the required growth rate which is needed to reach to the full equilibrium level and full employment level. For example, if the labor force grow at 3% per year, then to maintain full employment, the economy annual growth rate must be 3%. So its main objective to reach, the natural growth rate main objective is to reach to the level of full employment. Okay, so warranted natural growth rate is determined by the natural condition such as labor force, natural resources, capital requirement and technical knowledge. So that is the reason this natural growth rate is also known as welfare optimum and full employment rate of growth. So natural growth rate create limit. It creates some limits beyond which expansion of output is not possible, and this limit is known as your full employment ceiling. That you cannot go beyond that this is your ceiling level, you cannot cross this. Okay, you just have to remain under this path only. So that is the reason it is also known as full employment ceiling, because it creates some limits. Natural growth rate is maximum growth rate which an economy can achieve with its available resources. So this is the growth rate which the maximum can be attained, where the available resources are usually have been used in an efficient manner. Okay, so this is they are the three main concepts, like actual growth rate, warranted growth rate. This is the actual growth rate and the warranted growth rate, and the last, that is natural growth rate. You have to go in detail in this also. And there is one equilibrium situation which is known as knife edge equilibrium, and this knife edge equilibrium is the combination of all these three concepts, that actual growth rate must be equal to the warranted growth rate, and warranted growth rate must be equal to your natural growth rate. This is how we reach to this equilibrium position. Okay.